Hi. As you all just saw, I went and saw the Fnaf movie in theaters. And I saw it with a friend whose page I will be linking down below for commissions. Give them some love. I will do my best to refrain from spoilers, but some stuff's just unavoidable. I have a list of things right here. I want to list some good things, some things I liked about the movie, as well as some bad things that I disliked about the movie. And at the end, I'll be rating it out of 10. So for the first thing I liked, the movie did a great job showing real life issues in a way that's still viewable to pretty much every age group. I like this especially because the directors know who the target audience is. They know most of the fandom consists of young adults to late teenagers. However, they still show real life issues like loss, an unstable family dynamic, in a way that I feel children can still view it and not be traumatized, per se. And that's something Big Hero 6 did very well. It still makes it a top 10 movie of all time for me. I saw that in theaters too. It's one of my all-time favorites, and I'm very happy they went that route. I loved it. I love that about the movie a lot. Number 2, improved animatronic behavior. If you thought the animatronics in FNAF 1 were impressive, these guys completely blew them out of the water. Long story short, they did a whole lot more. Yeah, FNAF 1 you saw them up next to some people, but seeing them just up, out and about from the angles they were being shown really sets in stone just how terrifying these things are, how unpredictable they are, and that any moment, if and when they get you, you don't stand a damn chance. So I feel like they did that very well. They did that very well, and I can't wait to see what the next ones have in store, because based off what I saw, there's probably going to be more movies, and I will be watching all of them. Number 3. The movie doesn't take itself too seriously and prides itself on being scary as well as an occasional comedic value. Obviously,
It's a fucking horror movie.
it's gonna be scary, it's gonna be gory, it's gonna be a horror movie. However, it knows it's about a video game. It knows the target audience grew up on internet memes about this video game series, and they understand how important comedy is to us. And there was enough comedy scenes to a point where it wouldn't pass as, let's say, the original It passed as a comedy more than a scary movie. There was enough comedic moments to the point where it didn't pride itself too much on being scary, which I like that. I like it when movies recognize what they are and don't try too hard to be one thing. I like that. I like that a lot. Number 4, does a good job of making you feel as the main antagonist isn't a quote-unquote bad guy. That is something I will always love about any sort of pop culture. Any sort of movie, anime, TV show, Netflix series, anything involving a villain asterisk that you understand. Like Madara Uchiha's from Naruto is a perfect example of this. Yes, his motives were completely wrong, but his end goal was a world of peace. And I feel like this antagonist, who you'll know who I'm talking about if you've seen the movie, but I feel this antagonist had a decent motive as to why they had their goal, and I feel as though some people will sympathize with her. I feel like she was a well-written antagonist, and I hope they keep that trend going and it'll just make another, I'm evil. And finally, number 5. It leaves you feeling as though there is no real good guy. I always like that. I always like these movies take kind of a realism factor. There's no good or bad guy because that's not how the real world works. It's a bunch of flawed individuals trying the best they can in an impossible situation. That's a big critique I've had of a lot of movies lately. They've seemed very scripted based. All the bad guys die and the good guys survive. But yeah, there was no real good guy in this movie. And I like that. I like that a lot. Leaves you feeling conflicted, makes you feeling all sorts of things, and most importantly, it gets you excited for the next venture. And now, it's time to transition to the things I disliked. And, granted, if it makes you all feel any better, I had to think much harder about these than I did the things I liked. So I had to scrape the bottom of the barrel for this, but I still found a couple things. Number one, it copies and pastes a lot from the first movie. Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with that. You know the saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But it felt like the layout was very much copy and pasted. And there's another point later that goes deeper into that. But the initial layout of how they built it up versus how they climaxed it was very much, what's the word I'm looking for? It seemed to lean on the first movie a lot in terms of just the overall structure of it. Which again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It kind of felt like the same movie in that regard. And hopefully next time they don't do that. But then again, you never really know. Number two, there was too many jump scares to a point where it started to get predictable when they were going to come. Some of the jump scares got me. I gotta give props where props is due. But as you got into the movie, you could tell when a jump scare was going to happen. And sometimes it still got you, but that's a critique I've had of any horror movie / horror game, is that you should never expect a jump scare. A horror movie / game should have you on the edge of your seat the whole time you're watching it, no matter what. No, you don't know what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, and you for damn sure aren't expecting anything. Especially when the original Fnaf movies relied heavily on tension factors. I feel like certain parts of this movie didn't really have that. So for that, I'm going to put it here. It wasn't horrible, but I feel like it could have been better. Number three, the lack of character development of a character from the last movie. I will refrain from saying who this character is, but they made the exact same mistakes they made in the first movie. They didn't learn anything from their experiences, and they made probably an even bigger mess up than they did before, which I don't feel is realistic. I feel like once you go through something like the main characters did in the first movie, naturally you go into the sequel a little bit more cautious. And there was none of that. That just wasn't a factor at all. Not even a little bit. So I don't know. Again, this could change. Maybe when the next entry comes out, there will be character development and there will be skepticism. And maybe the mistakes won't be made. But I don't know. And that goes back to my first point, that it copies a lot from the original movie. You make the same mistakes, you do the same dumb decisions, and you get people hurt. Something you should know from experiences not to do. Yeah, it was more of a pet peeve than anything else, but yeah, I didn't like it, so I put it here. A lot of these are subjective. Some of the stuff I might not like, maybe something you guys really loved, if you've seen the movie. Number four, lack of other actor / actresses work being shown outside of Megan Fox. If you've been in pop culture for a long time, you know the name Megan Fox, unless you've literally been living under a rock. Whether you know her from the Transformers movies, the Fast and Furious series, or maybe you're weird and you just know her as Machine Gun Kelly's baby mama. But regardless, you've at least heard the name Megan Fox at least once in your lifetime, and if you haven't, you're lying. You'll be on the naughty list this year and Santa will not give you presents.
I don't know where I'm going with that.
But yeah, I get it. They're trying to push their biggest star to the front to try to sell tickets for the movie. I get it. It's a tactic as old as time. And granted, I have to give props where props is due. Megan did a much better job as Toy Chica than I thought she would. She damn near killed the role. And I liked her performance. I liked it a lot. And I wouldn't be mad if they brought her back for another character. Maybe in Sister Location. If they make a movie off of that. I don't know. You never really know with these movies. It got revealed Matt Pat was supposed to be Toy Bonnie. I don't think I even heard Toy Bonnie talk. Then again, not gonna lie, I was tired in the movie theater, so if he talked, I probably missed it. And I don't even know who Toy Freddy's voice actor even was. But then again, that's probably just me not knowing the casting than it is not presenting him a little bit more. But yeah, it felt like they were really pushing Megan Fox, and it didn't make a lot of sense, especially when she's playing a character most people don't immediately think of when they think of FNAF 2. Like, when you think FNAF 2, odds are you think of A, Balloon Boy, B, the Marionette, C, Toy Bonnie, and then maybe Toy Chica. I'd say Toy Freddy would be last, and then all the Wizards. Maybe you're emo and weird, you think of the Wizards first. I don't know how people's brains work, but that's how mine works. Yeah, when someone says FNAF 2, I think of Balloon Boy or the Marionette. I don't think of Toy Chica immediately, which is ironic coming from someone who grew up on the internet and around Gooners his whole life. But yeah, it felt like they pushed Megan Fox a lot, and she kind of overshadowed her coworkers in a sense. So I'd like to see some more evening out in the next entry, if possible. And number 5, this is my biggest gripe with the movie. The others were kind of more like little things. This is something I straight up just didn't like.
That was a long list for it.
Number 5, they did not do a character from the video games justice. They completely stripped him of his character. I won't spoil who this character is, but maybe the context clues help you figure it out. This character in the video games is one of the more, I don't really want to say heroic, but the more sympathetic kind of characters. One of the characters you stop for a minute to think, and you kind of feel bad for after a while. And you see him trying to do his best. You see them trying to better themselves to get out of this hell. And then they were in this movie, and they were completely stripped of that role. They acted almost nothing like they did in the video games. And it felt like they really tried to make this character William Afton 2.0, which in a movie that already has an antagonist that's already messing with people doesn't make a lot of sense. Especially when this character in total, the movie's about like an hour and like 50 minutes long. This character had like 10-15 minutes of screen time. So it didn't make a lot of sense. And in that regard, I didn't really like it. However, they could return, and maybe they will give him that. But yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't appreciate it, and yeah, that's my biggest gripe with it, was them stripping this specific character of their whole character, pretty much. And you know, I get it. It's a movie. It's not going to be exactly like the video games. It can't be exactly like the video games because you got to appeal it to everybody, not just the fans. But as a big lover of the fans, I have to give my constructive criticism. But yeah, overall, I enjoyed this movie. I really did. I liked it. It's good. It's good as a FNAF movie. It's good as a horror movie. And it's good for a movie that you can binge watch. Like, I would definitely watch this movie again a couple times. I would definitely probably play this movie in October on Halloween, you know, as a horror night. Maybe a horror date. Right, I mean a girlfriend for that first, but you know what I mean. I'm feeling a 7.5 to 8 out of 10 for this movie. It was a good movie. It was, I would say, compared to its predecessor, I would say it's about on par with the first movie. Maybe it's a little bit better, but overall, I think they're very comparable, which is fine. I'd much rather have a sequel that's comparable to its predecessor than a sequel that completely blows. But anyway, yeah, that's the end of my little movie review, if you want to call it that. I don't know what I'm going to call this video. I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoy, please consider liking and subscribing. You don't have to, but it sure does help. I'm your host, King. This is not 6-7. I did this first. Crocker. And I'll be seeing you next time. Fuck is saying not copied 6-7. I did it first. 6-7 copied me.